Some, though, that have a few more. Yeah. But if you want the local law firm with the most 5-star reviews, well, that would be Warren & Griffin by a long shot.
I'm Seymour.
I'm John Moore.
We have more 5-star reviews than any law firm in this area.
Call us at 265-HURT. We are your local law firm.
ESPN Cleveland 101.3 is powered by Duracell. You're listening to Paul Feinbaum on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. The Drive is coming up. The ESPN Cleveland 101.3 lineup is supplied by Wholesale Supply Group. WholesaleSupply.us.
Welcome to Mountain View Nissan Country, where automotive excellence is our top priority. At Mountain View Nissan, we take pride in offering you the finest selection of vehicles.
Take ESPN Cleveland 101.3 with you wherever you go. Listen online at ESPNCleveland1013.com. Presented by Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics.
Hey, Andy Morris here. Join me along with my co-host on The Drive, presented by Hardees, weekdays at 5 p.m. on ESPN Cleveland 101.3. Cleveland and Bradley County's local sports show, weekdays at 5 on ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
From the Kia of Cleveland Studios, this is ESPN Cleveland 101.3, WCLE HD2 Cleveland, W267BI Cleveland, ESPN Cleveland 101.3.
The top of the hour is presented by Best Buy Metals, making the top of your house the best it can be. Visit bestbuymetalroofing.com.
It's time for The Drive on ESPN Cleveland 101.3, presented by Hardees. We will bring you nonstop sports news from the national and local scene and everything in between. So buckle up and join in on the conversation. It's The Drive.
Don't take no slap. Got a thirst for killing. Think your body. Woo!
Welcome into The Drive here on ESPN Cleveland. I hope everyone out there is having a good Monday as we head into the Thanksgiving week. And, of course, a lot of things going on this week in collegiate sports. And, of course, this coming weekend is rivalry week. To me, it's the best week in all of college football. And I am Jim Gum, and Andy and Jacob are not here today, but we do have Philip Tang from Lee University. How are you doing, Philip?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm looking forward to this weekend's college football for sure.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, not everyone knows who Philip Tang is. Tell everyone who you are and what you do.
I am the athletic communications director at Lee University. I do broadcasting and do writing and a little bit of everything for the athletic departments over at Lee.
And, of course, Lee University, the basketball season's underway. And, listen, it seems like it was just yesterday we were, boiling in 100-degree weather, and now the weather is a little warm for this time of year.
Yes.
But I've looked at the forecast. It's starting to get chilly. I have a sneaky suspicion once we hit that cold snap again, it's going to stick around.
Well, I was down in Fort Lauderdale this past weekend for NCAA soccer. It was 83 degrees at kickoff. It was so hot. I was I want the cold weather. It's November 20th. I want some cold weather.
Yeah. Listen, I like living here in East Tennessee because we have all 4 seasons. We have summer can be a little uncomfortable, but really fall's really nice. Winter pretty mild. It's not that bad, and spring is great too. So to me, we've got pretty good seasons here, which I love. I love the fact that we have all 4 seasons. You live down there in Florida. It's hot. Pretty much warm or hot. It's not ever really chilly or cool.
Yeah, I agree. I like, even though sometimes fall is not as long as you would like, it gets too cold too quick, or spring's not as long. But I'm glad we have a little bit of everything.
All right, let's talk a little bit about what's going on right now in college football. I don't know if you pay attention to this stuff, but ESPN is expected to extend the deadline for the decision on the college football playoff changes. And the changes would be either staying at the current 12-team format that we've got right now or going up to a 16-team bracket. And there's been talk about maybe a 24-team bracket. And so they're going to extend, because it was supposed to have been decided by December 1. And just like typical, the Big Ten and the SEC cannot see eye to eye on anything. And frankly, I think we're going to stick with 12, which in my mind is a win. I like having 12 teams. I think 16 would be the max I'd want to go to, but I would prefer to stay at 12 But there's a lot of talk out there, and so it looks like the SEC and Big Ten, and they've been given the power by the other conferences and Notre Dame that the Big Ten and the SEC, whatever they come up with, everyone else is on board with. Because let's be honest, those two conferences pretty much dominate the sports, the world that we live in as far as sports collegiately. And so we're going to, I guess, I don't know how much longer they're going to wait. I'm thinking maybe mid-December will be, I think they're going to come up with a date sometime in December before January 1st. And we'll come up with an answer. And then that brings me to what I have as our question of the day. What's the right number for the college football playoffs? The FBS is currently at 12. And I'll tell you this, the FCS, which that's the college football championship subdivision, they announced their bracket yesterday, and that's it. That is at 24 teams. Division II football, which Lee University is 32. Division III football has 40 teams in their bracket.
There's also like 200 Division II football teams, so it's a little more expanded for Division III as well. Just
exactly.
Make it I mean, so you see all sorts. I know, and probably some people want that 40-team bracket. Can you imagine the chaos of that? If it was that big, and of course,
they've already had 2 rounds of football.
Right.
You know, they started theirs a couple weeks ago, so they're well into theirs. Division II's into theirs. Division I FCS will begin this coming weekend, and then of course the FBS. We got rivalry week this weekend. We got championship games on the 6th. Well, actually the 5th and 6th, and then on December 7th they'll come up with their 12-team bracket.
I think it all depends on, do you like teams that can have a bye or no?
I personally am not a big bye guy. I'd actually, that's why I like 16. I'm okay with, I don't want to get bigger than 16. If you're going to have a bye, the 12-team bracket's okay. I can live with it. I would have preferred 8. Okay? That would have been the perfect number for me, having 8 teams in there and no buys. Obviously, they went to 12. They went from 4 to 12, which was a weird jump. And they included 4 teams getting buys. I'm okay with it to a certain extent. I don't like buys, but I'll live with it. But I don't want to see anything bigger than 16. To me, I don't want to see mediocre teams in the playoffs.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm not a big buy person either, but if you have to have buy, I'd rather it be 12 than 24. I'm with you in the terms of I don't want to see a mediocre team at the highest level of collegiate football playing, but you could also, they're going to counteract, we can get more Big Ten or more SEC teams in that.
And probably that's what it's all about.
And that probably have a better chance of, let's be honest, like Vanderbilt might have a better chance of going and winning a game or two than a smaller group of 5 team that gets in. Not always, but just the odds.
Here's the one thing that I can kind of buy a little bit. Would I rather see a really good team miss out or really mediocre team get in? Is it better to err on the side of weak or err on the side of missing out? I kind of see both sides. Vanderbilt getting in, this may be the only year that Vanderbilt has a chance.
Right.
I mean, seriously. And they may be on the outside looking in because they're not going to go to the SEC championship game. If they beat Tennessee, they'll sit there at 10-2, but you got a lot of other 2-loss teams right there with them. And who's to say, well, this 2-loss team's better than this. What if Michigan beats Ohio State?
Right.
Well, Michigan will definitely have a better win than Vanderbilt's got. So Michigan, I would foresee Michigan leaping over Vanderbilt. Alabama's sitting there with 2 losses. Oklahoma's got 2 losses. Notre Dame's got 2 losses. You got a lot of 2-loss teams out there. Somebody's going to get left out, but who is it going to be?
And that's why the Big Ten commissioner and the SEC commissioner they want the bigger bracket because they don't want their teams to be left out. And it is what it is at this point. But I think honestly it's going to come down to a 16-team, no buys, and that's what it's going to be. Because I think you get basically 1, 2, 3, 4 rounds, and then you have a championship game.
Right.
I think most fans would love that.
I'm okay with it. Listen, last year we had Ohio State was an 8 seed. They won the national championship. Prior to last year, they wouldn't have got into playoffs. They would have gone to a bowl game. probably half the team would have opted out of the bowl game. That's one other reason that I think they increased the playoffs from 4 to 12, because when you looked around in previous years, you were seeing some of the bigger stars opting out of the bowl games.
Yes.
So you weren't getting a true representation. So you got fans, flying or driving to these bowl sites, and the star players were, standing on the sidelines in street clothes.
Right. I think there's an argument there that the bowl game system is antiquated as well.
I think
that's another argument, but
I think the bowl system's in trouble myself.
yes.
I really believe that, like this year, the Bahamas Bowl, it's kind of gone belly up, and
Right.
it was supposed to occur this year. Just about a month or so ago, they said, well, we're not going to have the Bahamas Bowl, and now it looks like it's probably gone forever. My thing is with the playoffs, all we talk about, or all you hear on TV and radio, talking about the playoffs. No one's ever talking about, hey, they have a chance to go to the ReliaQuest Bowl. They have a chance to go to the Citrus Bowl. No one's talking about those bowls.
No.
The only bowls we're talking about are the cotton, the sugar, the orange, the Fiesta, the Rose, because they're incorporated into the
Right.
playoffs.
Well, the only way you would talk about the random smaller bowls is if they had the playoff games at those bowl sites. And I don't think they're going that direction.
No, they're not going that direction. They're opting more for the campus
which
sites.
is the better idea because the
I
better
think so.
atmosphere.
I think so too. Plus, and think about this: how often can you ask your fans to travel and pay money to go to basically an away game, even though it may be at a neutral site? For example, let's say Tennessee went to Columbus last year and won that game.
Right.
Okay. Well, their fans had to travel to Columbus, get hotel rooms, the drive, or some of them flew, but most of them drove up there. Okay, let's say they win that game. The next game would have been in Pasadena in
Right.
the Rose Bowl. Okay, Tennessee fans, we know you just traveled to Columbus. Now fork out another couple $1,000.
Or more, yeah.
Go to, Pasadena. You're taking on the Oregon Ducks. Hey, you win. Congratulations, Tennessee. You won that game. You beat Oregon. Come back to Knoxville a couple weeks. Guess what? Now you're getting on another plane. You're going to Dallas, Texas. You're playing in the Cotton Bowl. Well, actually Arlington, Texas, but you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
They're going to the Metroplex, playing the Texas Longhorns. Yay, congratulations. You won another game. Now go back home for another week or so. Well, get ready to go again. Now you're traveling to Atlanta. So to play for the national championship. So let's say that had happened. Think about the burden that would put on the fans to travel to Columbus for a true away game, traveling to Pasadena, California, traveling to Dallas, Texas, traveling to Atlanta, Georgia. That's a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, unless you're really wealthy, you're gonna say about probably half the fan base or more.
Oh, at least more than half can't afford that.
No, then you have to pick and choose. All right, are you going to go to the guaranteed first game and then hope for the best for the next game, or are you going to gamble like, all right, we're gonna win this first round and we're gonna buy tickets to go to Pasadena,
Right.
or or wherever the next site is going to be.
That's the thing, that you got. And listen, last year, like fans for Notre Dame, Ohio State, Texas, Penn State, all these teams were in the playoffs last year. A lot of their fans did pick and choose. They're like, okay, I'm going to skip this one. Hopefully we'll win that one. We'll go to the semifinal. Well, I'm going to skip the quarterfinal game, and I'll go to the semifinal. Because a lot of fans just don't have that disposable income. I get it. It's a real problem. The NFL now, obviously, they don't have that problem as far as playoff games because all playoff games are played at the home side. The city with the higher seed or the better seed, they host every game except for the Super Bowl itself.
And it's a little more regionalized in terms of certain games because you're like Pittsburgh might be playing the Buffalo Bills, and it's not as far.
But they could play the Las Vegas Raiders or the Los Angeles Chargers. They could, that does happen. But usually the NFL, they're expecting the home team to sell out their own stadium. They're not worried about opposing fans. They know the home team's going to sell out their stadium. It's going to be a sellout. TV ratings going to be great. The NFL prints money.
Oh yeah, 100%.
The NFL prints money. As much as I love college football, and I'm a bigger college football fan than the NFL. The ratings for the NFL dwarf college football. They just do.
Yes.
I mean, it's not close. even the national championship game will get really good ratings. Don't get me wrong, and then it does. And the semifinal games get really good ratings. But it's like this weekend, like Ohio State, Michigan, Alabama, Auburn, the ratings aren't going to be nothing compared to some of these NFL games coming up.
Dallas, Kansas City plays on Thanksgiving Day.
That's going to be massive.
It's going to be 40 million people watching that game.
Yeah, I mean, and like I said, we're in the minority when it comes to being college football fans first and then NFL second. Because I don't know about you, I know a lot of people in this area, they don't even keep up with the NFL.
Right.
They just
it's all
don't.
college.
And
Most of the South is like that.
And it helps. The reason a lot of it has to do because of the mediocre teams around us. You know, the Titans aren't any good. The Falcons are very average. The Carolina Panthers aren't that good. So we don't really have that dominant NFL franchise that year in and year out are competing for championships.
Right. Well, I would be curious, whatever they end up with, how many home games are they going to, if they go with 16 or they go to 24, how many home games are before they start going to neutral sites? Because at some point it will break the schools won't be able to do it, and there won't be anyone in the stands.
Right. Yeah. I think they would have to go to at least 2 rounds on campus. I would imagine that. But the bowls really don't want. They want their bowls to exist. I get it. If I was a part of the Rose Bowl or the Cotton Bowl, I'm like, hey, we've been good for you guys for 50, 60 years. Don't turn your back on us. I kind of see both sides, but man, I look at it from the fans' perspective. So let's get back to the original question. What's the perfect number for you? Is it 12? Is
16.
it 16? It is 16.
16 is the perfect number for me because you're going to get enough. You can probably get 5 or 6 Big Ten teams in. You can probably get 5 SEC teams in, and then you have 6 between Big 12, ACC, Notre Dame, Group of 5 to get in, and then there's no buys. Yeah. No one's going to get a week off. You're going to work your way through.
I'm right there with you, and I hope that's what we end up doing. Now, that being said, I know that one of the big sticking point are automatic bids versus the at-large selection with the selection committee. I see both sides. I really do. I wouldn't have a problem with the SEC, the Big 10, the Big 12, and the ACC, all of them getting 2 automatic.
Okay.
That's 8. That's half your field. And the rest would be filled in with the selection committee. But you get your group of 6, which, of course, I say group of 6. It's group of 5 this year. Next year, it goes back to group of 6 because the Pac-12 will be back in the mix. And then Notre Dame. Those would be, at-large bids. And I could live with that. I don't mind the automatic bids as long as you're not saying, like, the Big 12 is going to be one of the top 4 teams or the Pac-12 is going to be one of the top 4 teams or the ACC. Well, the Pac-12 no longer
the Pac-12,
they're now a group of 6.
ACC or the Big 12 or even like this is an SEC upset. Let's say Vanderbilt gets in the SEC championship game and wins, but they have a couple losses. They shouldn't be 1 or 2.
You think there should be stipulations to gain the automatic bid? You have to fit a certain criteria. I could see that to a certain point.
Yeah, a little bit. But I don't mind, like, if Vanderbilt wins the SEC championship, they're in, but they're just not guaranteed one of those top 1, 2, 3, or 4 spots if their resume is not worthy of it.
In other words, let's use Vanderbilt for example. Let's say next year they go 9-0 in the SEC. They win all 9 league games because they're going to 9 league games next year. But let's say Vanderbilt goes 1-2 versus non-conference. Okay,
right.
They're sitting there at 10-2, and maybe bad loss. Maybe they got just hammered.
And
so now
small school upsets them or something.
So you've got a champion, but man, they've got some really bad losses on their resume. I could see that being some kind of a stipulation thrown in.
Yeah, like you're still going to be in, like you said be 4, you're going to be 5 or 6 or 7, and we'll fit you in where you should be by all crunch all the computer numbers.
Yep, absolutely. I guess we'll talk a little bit more about when we come back. Let's go ahead and take a break. When we do come back, I do want to talk about what happened this past weekend because there were some interesting games that happened in college football. You're listening to The Drive, presented by Hardees here on ESPN Cleveland. We'll be back after this.
The Drive will be back after a quick timeout. Stay tuned for more nonstop sports talk on The Drive, presented by Hardees.
Right now, someone in a Hardee's kitchen is about to warm up your winter with the new grilled cheese bacon burger. Charbroiled 100% Angus beef, bacon, and Swiss and American cheese melting on our soft, buttery sourdough. And our new grilled cheese breakfast sandwich with sausage or bacon and a fried egg. Cozy up to the goodness of the new grilled cheese bacon burger and breakfast sandwich. For a limited time, only at Hardee's. Cinnamon Raisin Biscuits are back. Unwrap them while you can. Only for a limited time at participating restaurants.
Hey, this is Alfonso, the General Manager of Crown Cleveland, your local home for Jeep and Ram. I'm here to announce that we have revamped our express lane. We are fully staffed and ready to take care of all your quick lube and oil needs. Please Google Crown Cleveland and see our great service specials.
Do you suffer from unsightly leg veins? Are your legs turning brown or swelling? Do your legs feel heavy, tired, or achy? Do you have restless legs or leg cramps disturbing your sleep? These symptoms are signs of bad veins. Dr. James Gooden at Milligan Vein offers an office treatment that can make you look and feel better, and your procedure is covered by most insurance. Find more information online at milliganvein.com or call Dr. Gooden today at 423-961-5682 and get rid of those bad veins.
Need a new shop, garage, or other unique space? Explore post-frame building kits from Best Buy Metals. Best Buy Metals kits utilize steel trusses for the ultimate in strength and durability. When you need it to last, call Best Buy Metals. Stop by or visit bestbuymetalroof.com for your custom structure.
Cleveland Tire Center, locally owned and operated for over 45 years. Cleveland Tire, your one-stop auto care shop in Cleveland. North Lee Highway, where the name says it all.
Hey Cleveland, are you suffering from fatigue, low sex drive, or just not feeling like yourself? Optimize You is the answer that you have been looking for. Our team is here to listen and help you become the best version of yourself again. So find us online at OptimizeYouCenters.com. That's OptimizeYouCenters.com.
Campers Unlimited in Ooltewah is this area's premier RV dealership. We offer down home sales and carry the best brands on the market such as Brinkley, Forest River, Palomino, and Primetime RV. If you need repairs or parts, the Campers Unlimited service department can't be beat. Open Monday through Saturday. That's Campers Unlimited, located at 8802 Old Lee Highway in Ooltewah.
Celebrate the magic of the season at the Tennessee Valley Railroad aboard the North Pole Limited, Chattanooga's most beloved Christmas train ride. Enjoy festive lights, holiday treats, and a special visit from Santa as you travel through the winter night. Perfect for families, friends, and anyone ready to make lasting Christmas memories. The North Pole Limited at the Tennessee Valley Railroad. For tickets, visit tvrail.com.
Welcome back to The Drive, presented by Hardees. Join the conversation. Text 423-749-1013. You can also listen anywhere on our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com.
Duracell in Cleveland is now hiring mechanical skilled technicians, $22 to $27 per hour. Excellent benefits beginning day one. Medical, dental, vision insurance, paid vacation, holiday pay, 401k, tuition reimbursement, and more. Apply now at Duracell.com. That's Duracell.com. And happy to have Philip Tang joining us today. Andy and Jacob are off today, but sitting here talking a little college football, and I don't know if you saw it over the weekend, maybe the strangest headline I've seen. A UAB football player stabbed two of his teammates.
I didn't read anything, but I saw that. I was like, what's going on with UAB?
That's a new one. I've never heard of that. I've heard of teammates getting in fights and stuff like that, but never pulling a knife out and stabbing two guys. And
a fight, you can come back. Like, you might have to, miss the game, but you can come back. Stabbing, you're not going to come back and play anytime soon.
No, he's been arrested, man. He's been charged with aggravated assault and attempted murder.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I mean, yeah, that's a good way to get yourself in a lot of water. I don't know what happened there, but crazy happenings there in Birmingham, Alabama. Getting back to the games themselves, did you see the final score of Notre Dame?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
I didn't get to watch the game because I was on an airplane, but
they clobbered Syracuse 70-7.
You almost feel bad for for Syracuse at that point. I know they have a lot of injuries this year, and they've not had a great record, but my goodness gracious.
It was 35-0 with 4 minutes left in the first quarter.
Yeah.
In the first quarter, it was 35, and Notre Dame was on the goal line when the quarter ended. And I think on a second play of the second quarter, they put it in the end zone for a 42-zip lead.
Yeah, it says Notre Dame scored 21 points before its offense took the field.
Yeah, you had a pick six, a block punt, a pick six, and then the offense finally seized the field. And then, of course, they were scoring like that too. It was, I'm telling you, I'm not a Notre Dame fan, okay? Andy's a big Notre Dame fan, but I will defend Notre Dame. If they don't get in the playoffs, it's a farce.
Right.
I know they lost their first 2 games a year, but man, ever since then, these guys are scary good.
Well, one of their losses is Texas A&M, who's still rolling.
Yeah, and that was because Notre Dame just blew an extra point, and then they lost by 3 to Miami, and that's the real issue right there. Because Miami beat them head-to-head, and I don't care if it did happen in game 1, head-to-head still counts. That's the one team that if I'm Notre Dame, I'm worried about. Because I don't think Alabama can leapfrog over Notre Dame. I just don't. If Alabama annihilates Auburn this weekend, maybe they'd have to just beat the dog, out of them. But I think Notre Dame deserves to get in the playoffs. And I'll tell you right now, Philip, nobody wants to play Notre Dame.
No, they don't. They're clicking.
They are clicking big time. That offensive line, that big physical offensive line, and those running backs they got, they're rushing attack. They just pound on you and they lean on you all day long. They just wear you down.
Yeah. Well, Miami's at Pitt to end the year.
Yeah, and of course Notre Dame just walloped Pitt a couple weeks ago. So, and listen, I don't like to use score comparisons, but either way, it's always going to go back to Miami versus Notre Dame head-to-head.
Yes.
That's always going to come back. And you know what? Here's my thing. The best team doesn't always win.
No.
Upsets happen. We get it. It happens. Just because you beat this Team A beat Team B doesn't mean that Team A is better than Team B. On any given day, crazy things can happen. I've like when Florida State and Alabama played, we all came in here the next day. We said, Alabama's better than Florida State, but how in the world did they let this happen?
Well, we also thought Florida State was back.
We thought Florida State was back, but I thought Alabama had the better team. I really did. But, it happens. Things like that do happen. You just sit there and you scratch your head sometimes at how in the world did this team beat that team. But I'm just telling you right now, Notre Dame's one of the 12 best teams in this country, regardless of 100%. How. And listen, whether they get in as the hosting a playoff game or they have to go on the road, it doesn't matter. That's a team that nobody wants to be taking on in the playoffs. And I root for Ohio State. I hope Notre Dame's in one of the other brackets, far away from Ohio State. They don't play. All the time we play them, being in a national championship game. Because I don't want any part of Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
Well, this goes back. I want to ask you this question now. It goes back to what we were talking about in the last segment. If with teams getting in and not, if Notre Dame gets left out, do they accept a bowl bid?
I think they will. I think they'll accept a bowl bid. I don't think they'll be happy about it.
Right. Well, how long to a team that is just left out? It's like, we're not going to worry about playing this bowl game and just end our season. That's when the bowl games will disappear, when that happens. And
teams have not accepted bowl bids. It's been a while. I'm trying to remember the last time. I know last year, this was an ironic thing that happened last year. Marshall accepted a bowl bid last year.
Mm-hmm.
And then they fired their head coach. Where like 40 kids entered the transfer portal. They didn't have enough kids to field a team, so the Army had to take their spot.
Right. That's a different circumstance.
But just to say, no, we're good. We're not going to accept a bowl bid. Actually, a school like a Notre Dame would be easier for them to do it because they're not in a conference. I think the conference would put pressure on one of their members to accept the bowl, especially if it's a bowl that they have a bowl tie-in with the conference. Right. Like say Alabama. Let's say Alabama misses the playoffs for the second year in a row by the
skin of their teeth.
Yeah, skin of their teeth. Last year they played in the bowl game and they got beat by Michigan. And would the SEC put pressure on Alabama to accept a bid to the ReliaQuest or the Citrus Bowl or the Gator Bowl or something?
Maybe. Because maybe the SEC's like, all right, this is our firepower.
These are
to
our
get
partners. These are our bowl partners. They're partnerships.
Also, here's our firepower to get more teams, SEC teams, into the playoff, or we're not going to do any of these bowl games. They could use that for their ammo on the other side.
Yeah, this is an interesting dynamic that it's at some point it will happen. I think what we'll see happen though, Philip, is that you'll see a team make a lame excuse. They'll say, "Oh, our team's dealing with some, injuries. There's some internal issues we're dealing with. They may not go into detail.
Some guys are going to the draft we didn't anticipate.
But just to say that, nah, we don't want to play because we're upset. We're ticked off. I don't know if we'll see that, but it wouldn't shock me. It really wouldn't. And like you said, like you were saying earlier, is the playoff the demise of the bowls as we know them. I think we'll always see the cotton, the orange, the rose, the sugar, the fiesta, the peach. Those 6 bowls. I think those bowls are going to be safe, but the bowls like some of these other bowl games are out there like the Citrus Bowl. The Gator Bowl, the Music City Bowl. Although we did talk about, we talked to the director of the Nashville Sports Commission, I think it is, and they run the Music City Bowl, and they're pumped about the new stadium because the new stadium is going to be the site of the Music City Bowl, and they want to become what the Peach Bowl became. The Peach Bowl began, in 1968 in Atlanta, played at Fulton County Stadium for years. Then the Georgia Dome was built, so it became a little bit more prestigious. And then Chick-fil-A got involved, and then they moved to Mercedes-Benz. Now the Chick-fil-A is one of the 6 most premier bowls in the country.
Right.
Where at one time it wasn't. And the Music City Bowl has this mindset that they want to be a major player in college football's postseason, and playing in this new stadium there in Nashville, that's their angle. So I don't know if the demise of the bowls, but I worry about bowls like
the 68 Ventures Bowl. I
down in Mobile.
Yes.
The Birmingham Bowl.
Right. Some of those will probably end up disappearing. The ones that are run by ESPN, a lot of those, the historic ones like the Music City or the Liberty Bowl, the Peach Bowl, might stick around.
I'll tell you, I don't know if you know this. You know what? I think it's the 3rd or 4th oldest bowl in the country. You know what it is? No, don't look it up.
I'm not. 3rd or 4th oldest? Is that?
And they're not a major bowl.
Is it like the Liberty Bowl?
No, it's the Sun Bowl.
The Sun Bowl. Interesting.
In El Paso. They've been around for a long, long time, and they're just a mediocre bowl. But, I think the city of El Paso really embraces that bowl, and they've always had – it seems like they've always got great weather for that bowl game. But it's been around for I think since the 30s, maybe the 40s. The Sun Bowl's been around for a long, long time.
Yeah, and you go back to the 70s and 80s, there weren't that many bowl games. It's been the 90s, 2000s, 2010s. Where
there used to be about 8 to 10 bowls, and New Year's Day was like you'd wake up on New Year's Day, and you're like, okay, Cotton Bowl is going to come on first. That's always the first. That was the major bowl. Cotton Bowl comes on first, and then you got the Rose Bowl, and then at night you got either the Sugar or the Orange Bowl, and it depended on which matchup you wanted to watch. Did you want to watch Nebraska versus Miami or Florida State, or did you want to watch Alabama versus Michigan or something like that? So those 2 bowls were on simultaneously, but the Rose Bowl always had their standalone time, and the Cotton Bowl usually had at least the first half of that game was usually standalone as well.
I just looked up a random year, like 1970, there was only 11 bowl games.
11 bowl games.
Year. So you had to be elite to qualify for that.
I remember there was of course you always had the Big Four. Then you had the Fiesta Bowl was around. You had the Peach Bowl was around. The Sun Bowl. You had
the Tangerine Bowl.
The Astro Blue Bonnet Bowl was around back then. You had the Gator Bowl. So you had some really decent bowls, and good teams, ranked teams were playing them, and the attendance for those bowl games were always almost always sold out. You'd fill up the stadium. Didn't matter what.
Right.
These days, you're looking at some of these stadiums. They're less than half full.
Well, it's because there's too many.
There's too many of them.
And if you win 6 games, you qualify now for a bowl game. At some point, it's got to be. You got to win 8 games or something. Like it used to be, like the elite of the elite made a bowl game.
There's 82 teams will accept postseason games this year, and that includes the teams that go to the playoffs. Okay, 82 teams. So right now there's 72 teams that have 6 wins, which is the threshold to go to a bowl game. And you've got, it's so funny because you've got Missouri State. This is their transition year into Division I FBS, and they have submitted because they're supposed to be banned from a bowl. They've already reached 6 wins. They're wanting to see if they can, get a waiver to play in a bowl game if there's not 82 bowl eligible teams. Now, here's another thing. Let's say there's 78, 79, maybe 80 bowl eligible teams with 6 or more wins, and you've got 2 bowls, two slots still open. You know how they make the determination?
No, I don't. I have no idea.
Is it the GPA or GPA or something like that? It has to do with academic standing.
Really? The highest, the academic success rates?
That's it. Yeah. The ones that have the highest rating, they get, even if they're sitting there with 5 and 7, they'll get a bowl bid before anyone else, or at least they'll be offered. Now they don't have to accept, of course, but they get it. They get the bowl bid thrown out at them first based on their academic standing. So hey, it's still good. That, the term student athlete. A lot of people laugh and make fun of it. It really should hold some weight, though.
It does, definitely does still the lower Division II and Division III is definitely still a student athlete driven divisions. But Division I, the high end, it's a little looser for sure.
At Lee University, I'm sure that you have had to run, had some run-ins with your GPA is not where it needs to be. You can lose your eligibility if you don't get that change or get it corrected. Have you ever had to make someone ineligible because of their academic standing?
Not at Lee, not yet at least, but my former school at Delta State, there were some football guys that struggled in academics at points and had to miss either a spring practice semester or had to miss the fall.
Yeah,
they had to miss their whole fall because they didn't have their GPA high enough, and it's not that hard to get the number of to be eligible.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to do a little work in class, and you can get
really
there.
True. These student athletes, and listen, there's a lot of people that help them out. Just show up to class,
right?
And usually that's half the battle. Just show up, and you'll probably be in good standing, and you'll be eligible to play whatever sport, football, basketball, you name it. But if you just don't show up, there's only so much that you can.
I heard about one athlete one time. He was a swimmer. Had a 0.9 GPA for the semester.
Oh my!
That's hard to do. You know how hard that is to get that's almost harder than getting a 4.0.
Yeah, because you just almost have to try not to
do anything.
Do anything. By the way, before we hit our next break, breaking news from the University of Tennessee.
Okay.
UT announced that the retirement of Smokey 11 from official mascot duties. Since being named to serve as the university's beloved mascot, Smokey 11 has worked hard to adapt to the energetic atmosphere of game day at Neyland Stadium, despite the extensive efforts of his handlers, trainers, and veterinary team over the last 2 years. Smokey 11's reserved temperament continues to affect his comfort in public outings. In other words, he's been barking and yapping at people too much.
Well, I mean, there's
maybe
100,000 people at home games, all that noise might scare a lot of people.
I went downtown this past weekend for the tree lighting, and there was a dog in a backpack. He was nipping at people. I'm like, man, you don't bring a dog like that to a public place where all these people, he's growling at people, nipping at them. And I'm not saying that's what happened to Smokey, but it sounds like they said his temperament.
Yeah, got scared, probably.
Yeah,
backed into a corner and tries to defend himself. I don't blame if you're not a overly outgoing dog. It can be tough with that many people around you.
The university is pursuing options for Smokey 12 for the next season in coordination with the Hudson family, who have provided that Smokey for a long time. Let's go ahead and hit a break. When we come back, we've got some more stuff that's good. We can talk about NFL and college and other things as well. You're listening to The Drive, presented by Hardees, here on ESPN Cleveland.
The Drive will be back after a quick timeout. Stay tuned for more nonstop sports talk on The Drive, presented by Hardees.
This is John Davis, the trade-in man for Kia Cleveland on South Lee Highway, announcing our Black Friday and Saturday blowout. The first 20 new Kia buyers on Black Friday and Saturday will receive a flat screen TV. Plus, trade in that old turkey you're driving and get up to $8,000 over Kelly Blue Book market value. That's right, up to $8,000 more for any trade in any condition. Plus, we'll buy your car for cash, even if you don't buy a car from us. Got foul credit? Don't sweat it. Our lenders will say yes to you and yes to your situation. So quit that old car cold turkey and get up to $8,000 for your trade-in. Don't forget, the first 20 new Kia buyers on Black Friday and Saturday will receive a flat screen TV. Come see me, John Davis, during the Season of New Traditions sales event at Kia Cleveland on South Lee Highway in beautiful Cleveland, Tennessee, where trading your car is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Negative trade equity finance when you loan, subject to lender approval. Expires month end.
KiaofCleveland.com. Right now, someone in a Hardee's kitchen is about to warm up your winter with the new grilled cheese bacon burger. Charbroiled 100% Angus beef, bacon, and Swiss and American cheese melting on our soft, buttery sourdough. And our new grilled cheese breakfast sandwich with sausage or bacon and a fried egg. Cozy up to the goodness of the new grilled cheese bacon burger and breakfast sandwich. For a limited time, only at Hardee's. Cinnamon Raisin Biscuits are back. Unwrap them while you can. Only for a limited time at participating restaurants.
Check out the fantastic savings this November at Mountain View Nissan of Cleveland, where it's Black Friday all month long. They have incredibly low rates, like 0% APR on the 2025 Pathfinder and Murano, or just 1.9% APR on 2026 Murano, plus $1,000 cash back on 2026 Kicks, or $5,000 cash back on 2025 Pathfinder and Murano. Want to trade in your old car? Nissan is giving up to $5,000 over book value when you trade, and they will buy your car even if you don't buy theirs. Shop in person on Exit 20 off of I-75, or visit Cleveland-Nissan.com. Payments are per month for 75 months. Does not include tax, tag, title, or dealer.fee. Must finance through the dealer. Subject to credit approval and pick from new dealer stock.
Did you twist an ankle? Hurt your shoulder? Or maybe that weekend project left you with more than sore muscles? Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics is here to help. Our Urgent Ortho Walk-In Clinic in Cleveland is open Monday through Saturday, treating sprains, strains, fractures, and more. No appointment needed. There's no need to drive to Chattanooga for expert orthopedic care. Call, schedule online, or walk in today and get back to moving pain-free. Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics. The Center for expert care right when you need it.
ESPN Cleveland 1013 is powered by Duracell.
Cleveland, the all-new Select Flooring and Remodeling is now open at 5555 North Lee Highway. We carry the top flooring brands you know and trust: Mohawk, Shaw, Engineered Floors, and United Weavers. We also specialize in home remodeling and roofing, delivering quality you can count on. Take advantage of 24 months interest-free credit. Come see us Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, and Saturday, 9 to 2. Call us today at 423-889-3007. That's Select Flooring and Remodeling, 5555 North Lee Highway, Cleveland. From the floors to the roof, we've got you covered.
Not all composite decking is the same. Enjoy life's beautiful moments on an equally beautiful composite deck. Envision's products feature deep, non-repeating grains and distinct colors throughout each pour, offering a truly unique appearance unlike anything else on the market. Learn more and find inspiration for your project at Cleveland Plywood. Cleveland Plywood Company, 2700 20th Street Northeast in Cleveland.
This Thanksgiving season, all of us at Honda Cleveland just want to say thank you for your trust, your loyalty, and for letting us be part of your journey. We're proud to be a 3-time Honda President's Award winner and a Carfax top-rated lifetime dealer. And it's all because of you. Right now, we're celebrating with special Happy Honda Day savings. Get more for your trade-in. Finance your new Honda from just 2.99% APR and make no payments for 90 days. That's right, no payments for 90 days, so you can keep your cash for the holidays. And don't miss our true certified pre-owned Hondas, too. They're backed by a 3-day return policy, 24/7 roadside assistance, and a powerful warranty. Honda Cleveland, your car, your way, every day. Just off I-75, exit 20, 1 mile east. From all of us at Honda Cleveland, happy Thanksgiving, and we hope to see you soon.
Men, when it comes to your health, don't cut corners. At Tennessee Valley Urology Center, they do men's health the right way. They believe in evidence-based treatments, honest conversations, and care that's tailored to you, not cookie-cutter solutions. Call or visit tnvalleyurology.com to book your appointment today.
Welcome back to The Drive, presented by Hardees. Join the conversation. Text 423-749-1013. You can also listen anywhere on our website, ESPNCleveland1013.com.
When it comes to Mayfield Dairy Ice Cream, you'll never have a boring bite. Their limited edition ice creams, cherry chocolate chip and banana pudding, are inspired by traditional Southern recipes and seasonal favorites. Pick some up today at your local grocery store. And Philip Tang is filling in today for Andy and Jacob. Appreciate you coming out today, Philip.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Now, tell everyone out there about what's going on at Lee University. You're involved in the athletic department there. A lot of successful teams going on.
Yeah, all the fall sports just wrapped up. So this past weekend up in Wisconsin, the cross-country teams ran in the national championships. The men's team came in 10th in the country. Ryan Lovelace, who does stuff with us, he came in 186th in the country this year.
Great.
And then on the women's side, 15th in the country. And then Estella Clemens, Cleveland native, she came in 29th in the country, running in the 6K in the national championship. So only a sophomore. Big things from Estella.
Listen, running long distances. I've got a friend of mine. He went to he got a scholarship to Western Kentucky, and I don't know how people do it. I just don't. I mean, I was a sprinter when I was young. I was fast, but the endurance it takes to run long distances, I just was never able to do that.
It takes a special mindset to
really does.
To dive in and just have to go through that pain of running as hard as you can for 30 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then in women's soccer, they made the NCAA tournament. They were the 3 seed in their region. Unfortunately, got upset by the 6 seed. Montevallo 1-0, so their season came to an end with an 11-4-3 record. Volleyball lost in the conference semifinals to the number 1 team in the conference in the 5th set by 2 points.
Oh, man.
They were that close to upsetting and moving to the championship game, so their season came. They finished the year 17-14. And then basketball, both teams are 2-1 on the season to start.
Okay, let me ask you this. You may not know. Years ago, there was all this talk, Lee University, of course, now they're an NCAA team, Division II. There was talk at one time of maybe adding a football program. That seems to have lost traction. When was the last team? Have you ever had any discussions or heard about this?
I mean, that was before I came. I don't think I'm sure there's some people that always just talk about what if or whatever, but I think the cost.
It is very expensive.
The startup and then year by year to add and
and you got to be in compliance with Title IX.
Right.
So you'd either have to add lady sports or unfortunately eliminate men's sports, which no one wants to see that.
I'll never say never.
Never say never.
But I'm not the one making that decision, so I can say maybe not, but I doubt it.
The thing is, where would you play?
And then you have to either play at one of the high schools at first, but then you'd have
build your own facility.
They would make you say either you have to spend the money to upgrade Cleveland or Bradley or Walker Valley or build your own stadium. And I don't know where you would put that stadium.
That would be where would you play?
Right.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, because if you build it in the middle of campus, well, the things that are currently there, where are you going to put those? So because you got the lacrosse and everything, all that stuff is right there in the middle of campus, which doesn't require a lot of seating. I don't know. I don't know if you could put a football stadium there or not. Actually,
no, you would
probably not.
You would cut off the road.
Yeah,
that goes around and everything. But yeah, I doubt Lee ever adds football.
Yeah.
in my personal opinion. Now I could be shocked in 10 years down the road, maybe, but at this point, I would say doubtful.
Yeah, but Lee University is rocking and rolling on the sports side of things, so appreciate you filling this in and giving us an update there.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, now let's talk a little bit about the NFL.
It was a crazy day in the NFL yesterday.
It was a crazy day in the NFL yesterday. I want to start with this, and I'm not a Cleveland Browns fan at all, but Shedeur Sanders got his very first start in the NFL, and he played pretty decently considering everything. Now, obviously, they were playing the Raiders, who fired Chip Kelly right after the game, by the way, from the offensive side of things. But do you think this Shedeur Sanders has what it takes to be successful in the NFL?
Well, I have the Titans. I'm a Titans fan, so I have the game up on one screen. Then I have like the red zone on my computer. So
red zone, by the way, is one of the greatest inventions of all time.
So I catch bits and pieces. I don't see every single snap that Sanders took, but he looked pretty consistent. He's got work to do still, but if he doesn't try to force passes like he did sometimes in Colorado, he could be a pretty good NFL
He's got the arm strength. We know
he does have the arm strength, and he's got the speed and
mobility. He's got the mobility.
If he just cuts down on any mental errors, I think he could be a good. Is he going to be Patrick Mahomes? Probably not.
Yeah,
but he could be a Pro Bowl player.
Speaking of Patrick Mahomes, I thought Kansas City was dead in that game, and just like Patrick Mahomes has done many, many times, he leads his team back what looked like a sure loss to a win yesterday.
Oh yeah,
and then of course this Thanksgiving. Do you like the Thanksgiving NFL games?
I do.
I do too. I actually loved watching the Detroit Lions, even when they were going 2-14 in the NFL. But now you got a really good Detroit Lions team. You got a Dallas Cowboys team who came from down 21-0 to Philadelphia. They're playing, and then you've got Joe Burrow playing for the Bengals.
Maybe.
Well, he is. They say he's playing. He's playing against the Ravens. So you got 3 games on Thanksgiving, noon, and all day long with pretty decent storylines.
All 3, Green Bay, Detroit. It's big because Detroit barely hung on against the Giants. Did you see by the way, the catch that Jameis Winston made?
Yes.
He looked like an elite wide receiver.
Unbelievable.
That one. But then also Friday, the Black Friday game on Amazon. Chicago's at Philadelphia. That's a big game for both those teams as well, because Chicago leads the 6 of the North.
Listen, nobody, and I mean nobody, picked the Bears to be 8-3. First, didn't they start season 0-2?
I think so.
And I think they've won 8 of their last 9 or something like that.
Yeah, they lost to the Vikings and the Lions to start. So their only other losses to the Ravens.
And there's no. I mean, those are pretty decent teams they lost to. This is a pretty good Chicago Bears football team. Caleb Williams is coming into his own. Now, he still makes some mistakes here and there, but I still think he's got what it takes to win in this league. And I like to see success for teams that have been down for a long time. Now, some people say it's too soon for New England because of the Tom Brady. But doggone, if that team's amazing, sitting there at 10-2, the best record in the NFL.
Yeah, they struggled a little bit against Cincinnati. They
did.
Joe Flacco somehow keeps rolling and keeps getting teams close.
Well, he threw a pick 6 yesterday. That didn't help things.
No. He brought him back, though, because it was 26-20. So, but yeah, Drake Mays played really, really well.
Oh, I think it's fun. And listen, who was the head coach of the Titans?
Yeah. The Vrabel. Yes.
So, as you say, you're a Titans fan.
Yes.
Does it just kind of make you scratch your head going, guys, we should not have got rid of this guy?
A little bit.
But some people said his welcome had worn out in Nashville. I'm like, guys, the guy knows what he's doing. He's a good football coach. Yeah, they went through a little bit of a lull there, but I think Vrabel could get you back, and I think he knows what he's doing. I mean, he learned
coaching-wise, yes.
I think he played under Belichick. He coached under him a little bit. I just think that was a mistake on the Titans.
Well, he had a couple bad years at the end, but I think the draft the drafting that they didn't really help him.
I get it, and he's some of that blame is on him. I just think that they cut ties with him just a little bit too soon. I like him personally. And then here's an interesting little thing going on here. The Raiders got beat by the Browns yesterday, and then they fired Chip Kelly. You remember what Chip Kelly was doing this time last year?
He was at Ohio State. Honestly,
offensive coordinator of Ohio State.
I honestly didn't realize he was at Las Vegas until I read that. I'd
really?
forgotten he had gone. I knew he left Ohio State, but I'd forgotten he had gone to Las Vegas.
Well, he was just offered a lot of money to go to Las Vegas. The Ohio State couldn't match it. And now you wonder, is Chip Kelly now a guy that would get back into the pool of all these college openings that are out there? I think Chip Kelly can still coach. Personally,
I think he can. He's proven not to be too successful in the NFL. So he's had much better success in college than he has in the pros. So he might end up as
the
head
one
coach
thing
somewhere.
about him that he was a head coach at UCLA, and he resigned to become the offensive coordinator of Ohio State because he said All he wanted to do was coach. He didn't want to do all the other stuff that have coaches have to. Listen, these days, a head coach is like a CEO. They're the face of the franchise, and they're out there, fundraising and stuff like that. He didn't want to be doing it. He just wanted to be on the sidelines and coach.
Well, that's why you're seeing more of these Power 4 schools getting general managers.
Right.
Like Andrew Luck at Stanford or Michael Lombardi at North Carolina. They're the ones dealing with bringing the players, and the coaches are trying just to be a coach.
Talking about North Carolina, Bill Belichick, obviously, they're not going to make a bowl. They lost their 7th game this past weekend to Duke. And so the best they can do would be 5-7. In your opinion, does Bill Belichick coach North Carolina in 2026? Or do you think an NFL franchise would try to lure him back to the pros?
I think he'll be at North Carolina. I don't think the Tar Heels are going to fire him after 1 year.
I think so, too. I think we're in a minority. Most people think he's one and done.
I don't know if an NFL team will take him right now, just the way this season at North Carolina's gone. If he hadn't coached at North Carolina with the Giants opening, you could easily say the Giants, come coach and let's see what happens.
Mm-hmm. And that would be, to me, that would be the one opening that he would be the
most comfortable with,
most interested in, and them and him and there in them as well. So that's interesting. But I'm like you. I think he's going to go back. I think he wants to prove people that I can coach at the collegiate level and I can win. And I think that's why he's going to come back next year.
I think at least one more year he'll get that from North Carolina. He might get a couple more years from North Carolina, but it depends. Who knows? At some point he may be like, this is not worth it, and he'll just step away and be done.
Yep. All right, let's talk about some of the big games coming up this weekend. On Friday, you got a really good slate of football games on Friday and Saturday. Let's talk about at noon on ABC, you've got Ole Miss, Mississippi State. Your thoughts? Do you think Ole Miss rolls? I think they just roll in that game. But you've got the Lane Kiffin
distraction
thing hovering over. Is he going to stay? Is he going to take the LSU job? Will he go to Gainesville, take Florida? Really, the side story is bigger than the game itself, and that's the Egg Bowl.
Look, I lived in Mississippi for 9 years. It is nationally, it's underrated in terms of
the bowl game. I mean, the Egg Bowl. You mean
in terms of disdain for one another? Like you go to church with people that are Ole Miss or Mississippi State fans, and they're friendly, but when that week comes, they don't talk to one another. It's a underrated rivalry, and if you're Ole Miss, you're like, we want to win no matter what. Just stick it to Mississippi State.
And we're going to get to this game at some point anyway, but Vanderbilt and Tennessee, usually, in pretty much my entire life, it's been, it's Tennessee. Tennessee's going to blow out Vanderbilt. They always do. So Tennessee fans didn't have a disdain for Vanderbilt like Vanderbilt have a disdain for Tennessee. But this year, Tennessee fans are they're riled up. They can't stand the fact that Vanderbilt could come into Neyland Stadium, beat the Vols, and elevate themselves to the playoffs, maybe.
Yeah, I definitely think Tennessee is going to. They're not. If they know they can't make the playoff, they're going to prevent Vandy.
They would
costs
love that
to not make it.
They would love nothing more than to ruin Vanderbilt's magical season. All right, another game on Friday, Georgia at Georgia Tech. I say it's at Georgia Tech. It's actually being played at Mercedes-Benz Stadium instead of on campus there. Any chance that Georgia Tech got throttled this past weekend, but Georgia just looked mediocre.
Yeah.
And they got the win 35-3. We get that. Any chance Georgia Tech can beat the Bulldogs?
Remember last year went triple, quadruple,
no, eight
overtime, whatever it was.
8 overtimes, yeah.
So I mean, it could happen. Now I would think it'd be better if they were playing
in Bobby Dodd Stadium.
It'd be a better chance for Georgia Tech to win that game than Georgia plays Mercedes-Benz like 3 times a year. It's a home game for them.
There's going to be a lot more red and black in Mercedes-Benz Stadium that seats 74,000 people than the 50,000 seats at Bobby Dodd Stadium, where you get your season ticket holders. And yes, there's Georgia people that find their way in there, but there's going to be a lot more find a way in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Oh, yeah. So I think since it's in Mercedes-Benz, Georgia has the upper hand.
All right, Texas A&M at Texas. Of course, Texas began the season ranked number 1. They lost their first game. They've played pretty decent, but they did lose. They've lost 3 games now. They lost the Florida game, which was a killer, and
lost to Georgia as well.
Yeah, but they would love nothing more to ruin Texas A&M's undefeated season. You give A&M or Texas, who are you picking in that game?
I'm going A&M. I think I think they're playing well enough, and there's enough questions still for Texas, both offense and defensively. Maybe not perfectly. I think A&M is it an upset at Texas?
It is at Texas.
So is it an upset if Texas A&M wins at Texas?
No, they're Texas A&M's favorite.
So I think the Aggies are well coached, and I think they've not played this game in a decade now.
Yeah, well, they played last year at Texas A&M. It's the first year Texas was in the SEC. This is the first year in Austin since 2011,
something like that. So yeah, the Aggies want to go in there and try and get that win for the first time in forever.
Oh yeah, I'm taking the Longhorns to upset the Aggies. I'm taking them. All right, number 1 Ohio State going to Michigan. That game's noon on Saturday. You give Michigan's won 4 straight. That's the narrative. Can the Buckeyes finally get over that?
I think Ohio State's defense is too good this year for Michigan to really score on them, so I don't think Ohio State's losing streak will continue. I think they'll get Michigan this year.
All right, last game we got to go. Alabama and Auburn.
Alabama.
Yeah, I think Alabama.
Auburn's wounded right now. They don't have a coach. It's been tough.
I agree. Philip, thanks a lot, man. Appreciate it, partner.
For sure.
Hey, I hope everyone out there is having a good Monday. Stay tuned because we are going to cover the Monday Night Football game here on ESPN tonight. You're listening to The Zone on ESPN. We'll see you guys at 5 o'clock tomorrow.